want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new. A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who'll bring the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Because it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
And it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you cast your vote for Kennedy, and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome, welcome, welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, North American continent, Western Hemisphere, on this planet Earth, the only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect Tonight for the 9th of September, Monday, the 9th of September, 2024. We are about 25 hours away from debate time. We are live right now on my personal Facebook, Jeff Kennedy. We are live on our Facebook home group page, That Other Side of Information. We are live on YouTube, also called That Other Side of Information. We are on our Twitch channel at Jeff R. Kennedy. We are on LinkedIn at Jeff Kennedy as well. And of course, the audio radio portion of the program blasting around the globe via GCPR.live, GCPR.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Plug anything into a search engine of your choice. GCPR, Jeff Kennedy, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. You will find us. You will find out where to watch, where to listen. You will see our schedule, find out about all the other programs across the network. And we hope you will as well. That you will share it, that you will check out the website, that you will check out the other programs, and become a regular listener to GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio.live, GCPR.live. It is, as I said, about 25 hours away from debate time. And I find myself getting oddly nervous because here's the interesting thing. I think it's interesting, actually. I don't think there's too many different ways that this debate can go. I think there's really only maybe two ways that it can go. Three if I stretch it. One being Vice President Harris wins. And I suspect, by the way, nobody's going to win by a hair. I think it'll be a blowout one way or the other. And I despise, by the way, using sports terms in our national politics, especially at a time like this when our national politics is so damned important. But it seems to me there's really only three ways this could go. I suppose it could be a draw. They could slug each other and nobody really wins. Trump could win because she makes a terrible mistake, or he goads her into making a terrible mistake. Or she wins because Trump is in overdrive and she wears the vice president, as in she, I shouldn't just say she is if she is not. She's some random person, but that Vice President Harris does an excellent job, as she did in so many Senate committee hearings and confirmation hearings. Puts her prosecutor's hat on and presses the case. Now, my understanding of the debate rules are as follows. And if I'm wrong, somebody please hit the Google machine, correct me. When a question is directed to Vice President Harris, Trump's mic will be muted. So if her mic picks him up, he's going to have to shout pretty good. The Vice President's microphone will be muted while Trump is speaking. And I'm pretty sure, I'm nearly 100% sure, that there is no time built into this debate for them to directly speak to each other or question each other. Both of these things are a detriment to Vice President Harris, as they were a detriment to President Biden. We should be... Why is this bad for her, not him? He can't question her. He simply doesn't have the knowledge and skill to do it. I've maintained on this program really since the dawn, since the beginning of the program. We were, this affliction over America, this cloud over our nation, this dark cloud of chaos that is the Trump era has been with us for almost a full decade now. He's been around for, 40 plus years in the spotlight, but the damage that he's done to the country, the overdrive, the turbocharged damage he's done to the country, the fundamental damage he's done to the fabric of this nation, is about 10 years old now. And I've maintained on this program since our beginning that Trump is not a dumb man. He's not. He can be a stupid man. He can be willfully stupid and willfully ignorant, because he actually believes that he's so far above the day-to-day that he need not study it. That he's just, his superior intellect will be just enough to get himself out of anything, answer any question, talk himself out of any situation. And please try to keep in mind, from my point of view, nobody need agree with this, but from my point of view, I really haven't had anybody disagree with me quite yet. And that'll happen. It always does. There's a fundamental difference between dumb and stupid. Dumb is seeing the hot burner on the stove and putting your hand on it. Why would you do such a thing? Because you don't know any better. You put your hand on it, it gets burnt. You learn. Hopefully you learn not to do it again. Stupid is doing it again. Stupid is seeing the same red hot burner on the stove and putting your hand on it after having had it been burnt, that you do it again. That's stupid. I don't think Trump is a dumb man, but I think he can be stupid. And I think he can be willfully stupid. He continues to do the things that the majority of Americans consider to be repulsive because he thinks he can get away with it. Because he thinks he's smarter than all the rest of you. And not just smarter, but better. And by the way, if I had 35 to 40% of the country that followed me blindly in some sort of trance-like cult, no matter how many women I knocked up, no matter how many abortions I secretly paid for, when a judge comes to the conclusion that I did rape a woman, when I stripped $8+ trillion away from you, you being the 99%, when I sold anywhere from 600 to 800 immigrant kids into slavery, I sold classified documents to foreign powers, and still 35 to 40% of you blindly follow this man no matter what he does. If I was Trump, I'd probably do whatever the hell I felt like to. Because no matter what I do, this solid group, this subservient group of followers, of cultists, are behind me no matter what. Simply because I hate people of color the same way they do. It is that willful stupidity that I believe will not allow, or does not allow, Trump to be able to question Vice President Harris directly. And it's why his campaign did not want that included in the debate rules. There will be no time that he can address her and ask her a question, because he can't, because he's too stupid to do it. He's not dumb. He's not. Don't ever think that he's dumb. He's not. But he's too stupid to do it, and willfully stupid. This would have been a great advantage to Vice President Harris, because she's a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. She's a prosecutor. She's used to questioning criminals. And if I was the vice president's campaign, if I was advising her, and God knows I'm not, she wouldn't know me if she was standing, if we were the only two people in this studio right now, she still wouldn't know who I was. So I'm not special. If I was advising her, I would have, the reporting that I saw is that it was the Harris-Walz campaign that fought to have the microphones muted. I think that might be a mistake. It's in those moments where he's trying to talk over other people where he gets the most ludicrous. And then as soon as she says, or I'm getting myself backward, getting my pronouns mixed up. As soon as he says something that ridiculous, the vice president has to turn into, or could have turned into, full-blown prosecutor mode. Law and order turbocharged. And ripped him to shreds and made him look like the fool that he is. Like the carnival barker that he is. So going into the debate straight away, I think she's disadvantaged in those two areas. I'll say it. It'll come out. I'm really tired. Really tired. But here's the third place that I think Harris campaign is automatically behind before these two ever hit the stage. And that is the media, especially, continues to grade Trump on a curve. He still somehow manages to get a pass in these debates. Well, he's not a politician. He is. And he's been one for a decade now. He announced his run for the presidency in 2015, his first run. In 2015, he announced his re-election campaign days after his inauguration. He is a politician. So stop grading him in these debates like he's not. The media and the pundits and the punditry class continues to grade this man that if he walks out on stage and manages not to throw up all over himself, that somehow that's an achievement. Ooh, he really stood in with a seasoned politician. Oh, he didn't barf all over himself. He didn't pass out. He didn't throw spitballs at her. Somehow that's a victory. It's the minimum of political decorum. It's a minimum of, dare I say, class and grace. But remember, his cult followers love that. If he walked across the stage and smacked her across the face tomorrow night, 40% of the country would stand up and cheer. And one thing that I think is terribly, terribly, terribly unfair to put on Vice President Harris, but it is, in fact, reality, is that she does have to thread the needle between attacking him, treating him like a criminal in court. Then again, he is a criminal, isn't he? She's the only one on the stage who can be accused by the political class of acting like the angry black woman. And there's 4 things right off the top that are stacked against her. And yet, at the same time, I'm confident that she will win this debate. But I think it's part of why I find myself being a little bit nervous, because it could go wrong. Because there's lots of things that could go wrong. And that's partly why I find myself a bit nervous, because she's already down in those 4 areas before they ever hit the stage. In fact, she's been down in these areas since the debate was announced. As purely, dramatically unfair as it is. But yet, at the same time, I believe she will prevail in this debate. She is experienced. She is better prepared. She is studied. She actually understands the issues. I'm sure you all saw clips of Trump trying to tell this forum that he was speaking at that somehow tariffs on China were going to pay for nationalized child care. It's just a fundamental lack of understanding how tariffs work. It's just properly just not understanding how they work. And because, and why would he? Here's how you know he is a politician. Talking about tariffs is a topic he wanted to talk about. So he answered the question he wanted to answer. He does not know what child care is. He does not care about it. He does not care who needs it. He does not care about how to pay for it because he has no intention whatsoever for the government to use its power to help deliver it. So what do? You answer the question you want to answer. I don't want to talk about childcare because I don't know about it. And by the way, I could care less. I don't care about poor kids. I don't care about their moms. I just want cheap labor for corporations. And I'll talk about tariffs because they're pretty popular. And by the way, I think they are growing in popularity throughout the nation. We need to spend some time on the program. We'll have to set aside either a night or a Sunday to really talk about tariffs and about why they're a good thing for the country. But that's a different topic for a different day. I think Trump is naturally out of his element in Philadelphia. He hates the city. He hates everybody who lives there, or at least the people of color that live there. Philadelphia is, I believe, one of only two, well, it depends, I guess. Well, Baltimore's below the Mason-Dixon line. So it is one of only two cities in the North, in the quote-unquote Civil War North, that are majority black cities. I believe Detroit is the other. Still, that Detroit is the other. There are majority black cities throughout the South. But in the North, I believe those are the only two remaining majority black cities, Philadelphia and Detroit. Trump has campaigned against Philadelphia as an idea, as some sort of mythological creature that's coming to get the white suburbs. He's campaigned that way for 8+ years now. So immediately, he's a little out of his element. Now, there's no crowd at this debate, to the best of my knowledge. There is no audience. There are the moderators from ABC. Don't even know who they are, which is sad. My guess would be Martha Raddatz and gentleman that hosts the evening news, whose name is escaping me at the moment, which I'm not exactly proud of. It's escaping me at the moment. I would imagine it's the two of them. But no audience is actually probably a good thing because they can't jeer her. I mean, Trump's audiences are almost animalistic. Not that any of these, the red hat, complete Chinese-made Trump garb folks would ever make it into a debate like that, but there won't be people in there to boo, hiss, laugh, giggle, jeer, because he's tried to turn these debates into blood sports. He's tried to turn them into WWE, and to a great extent, he's gotten away with it. My hope is that when this man dies, and to be quite honest, I think he's an absolute, especially compared to my health, I think it's an absolute miracle he continues to live. I don't know how many times he sold his soul to the devil, but it seems to be working. For somebody who does nothing but eat McDonald's and Diet Coke all day long, reportedly for decades, he's nearly 300 pounds, he's obese. How he hasn't dropped dead yet is nothing short of a minor miracle. Maybe Ronnie Jackson was actually right. He's got great genes. But I just, I hope that after this man passes away, and look, he has family. They love him. Why, I don't know, but they do. I wish no harm on him whatsoever. None, zero, none, none, none. I hope he is resoundingly, thoroughly, completely defeated in November, and finally this long national nightmare can end. The only sort of lingering national nightmare that has ever lasted this long in American history was Vietnam. I look forward to somebody being able to take to the airwaves, maybe even from the Oval Office, and repeating those words from President Ford, our long national nightmare has ended. He needs to be defeated in November thoroughly by as wide a margin as humanly possible, so that finally this ends. And that perhaps, although I have no optimism toward it, perhaps the Republican former political party known as Republicans actually returns to some sort of form of governance and policy. But I doubt that that will happen, because immediately the next Trump will pop up. I happen to think that Republicans and the former Republican Party, I say former, not that they've dissolved yet, but the former political party, functioning political party, known as Republicans, I actually think it's gotten to the point that even if Trump was to pass away tonight, that the party itself is beyond repair. And you've seen some former Republicans actually talk about that the party is now irredeemable. It needs to dissolve, and an entirely new political structure has to be built. I hope they go out tomorrow night and they have one of the classic, substantive, policy-laden, monotoned, polite, respectful debates you've ever seen in history. But when you go into the monkey cage, you're probably going to get, you know what, flung at you. And the vice president's going to get it flung at her tomorrow. And the fundamental unfairness of this that's already built in, and has been built in from the media since the beginning of the Trump phenomena, has been not to look at him for flinging the you-know-what, but to study everybody else's reaction from getting hit by it. And yet still, I am optimistic that she will win this debate. Remember, folks, over 60 million people, I believe it was around 64 million people, watched at least some of the Biden-Trump debate from June, the one that changed everything. It is my hope that that number will get to about 80 million tomorrow night. And by the way, this is it. This is it. This is the one. And there will be one vice presidential debate, which I happen to think will be extremely interesting. That's all we got. So please tune in tomorrow. 8:31. TKE Tonight is live for the 9th of September, 2024. We are live right now on my Facebook. We are live on our group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information. We are live on our YouTube channel, also called That Other Side of Information. And by the way, still by far the best way to catch up on the program. If you ever miss any of our program, YouTube, best place to go. Easiest place to go. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You can always find our program. I got a tickle. Here it comes. I talk all day at work. I come home. I talk more. I get a little tickle. Something is dancing back here. Always good timing. Anywhere that we share a program on Facebook, you can find it. But generally, other posts pile up on top of it, and you have to scroll and search and find. And believe me, I'm so grateful, so very deeply, deeply grateful to every single individual to every page, to every group, local, regional, statewide, national, global, large, small, public, private, to every group that allows us to place our content on your corner of the Facebook universe. But sometimes when the posts pile up, it can be harder to find. So I continue to implore you to go to the YouTube channel. It's the easiest place. That other side of information, you find it. Subscribe would be great if you'd be so kind. You'll get an alert every time we're on the air. You'll get an alert every time a new video goes up. They're right in sequential order. They're very easy to find and easy to catch up on. We're live on our Twitch channel, Jeff R. Kennedy. We're live on LinkedIn at Jeff Kennedy as well. And of course, the audio goes out on the place where every voice matters, especially yours. GCPR.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Go to our website. It's in the chat. I put it in the chat every time we're on the air. And find out about us. Please tell your friends and family. Tell the groups that you're in on Facebook. Tell your friends on Instagram. Tell the people that you might have communication with on TikTok. We're everywhere. You can find us. Just plug it into the search engine of your choice. GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. You'll find us, and please become a listener. And again, I actually forgot during our 3 hours last night to mention to you and ask you, continue to ask you, wherever you might find us on on social media. Myself, this program, George, everybody at GCPR, Thomas, Gilbert, Gambit, everybody. Facebook is a like, a share. You can join our Facebook group, that other side of information. You can follow the Ghost Claw Productions page. Instagram is a follow. TikTok's a follow. YouTube is a subscribe. We always think subscribe means money. It does not. You don't pay a dime to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that other side of information, or the YouTube channel for GCPR. You don't pay anything. But when you subscribe, you get alerts. Every time we're on, you'll get an alert to say, hey, GCPR is live. You might want to check it out. So whatever is your social media weapon of choice, so to speak, we hope that you'll give us a like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever's appropriate for that particular one. I'm going to continue to ask you to do that. If you yourselves have not done it yet, please do. And if you have, please ask others. It's what we depend on. I also want to remind all of you very quickly that if you are running for office, statewide office, federal level, anywhere in this country from either party, you are welcome here. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to interview you. We'd love to know what you think about the issues of the day. We'd like to have a conversation with you. Republican or Democratic nominee, either or both. You want to debate on this program? My airwaves are open to you. If you're running for a statewide level office, state legislature, treasurer, auditor, attorney general, if you're running for the U.S. House of Representatives, running for the United States Senate, yes, Vice President Harris, you're welcome here to do an interview. I'm not holding my breath. But hey, stranger things. If you're running for statewide or national office anywhere in the U.S., you are welcome here. Please spread the word. It's 8:36. You can take a phone call or two. I did not yet. Oh, you know what? I should do comments. Not good of me. I should do comments. Let me see what we got from Mike. He, meaning Trump, has gotten away with everything. He treads water wherever he wants, and even dragged into court, he escapes justice and naps through it. He is Teflon. Yeah, he is. But it also, I think, more than that, Mike, respectfully, and God knows you don't have to agree with me, but what it says to me is how deeply, deeply broken our justice system is. That if you have enough money, if you are white and male, you can delay justice indefinitely. I've said this before. I don't use this example lightly. If Trump was a 16-year-old black kid from the South Bronx who had a 16th of an ounce of pot in his pocket, he would have been arraigned, tried, and jailed already. Probably for 10, 20, or 30 years. But he's not. He's a billionaire white guy who's taking 40 cents off the dollar from the Republican National Committee and his own campaign to pay for his lawyers. If I had that endless amount of cash coming in, I could delay justice probably until I passed it. In which case, then, he never sees justice, does he? Go ahead, Randall.
Hey there.
Oh, it's Mike. I always assume it's Randall. I should not do that. I should not do that. That's what I get. That's what I get for getting ahead of myself. Go ahead, what's on your mind?
Well, you know, it's one of the things, one of our failed presidential candidates, is to think back to 2008, February. Well, John Edwards was going to walk away with the Democratic nomination. And then we all left and he fell to earth and accidentally put his penis inside of his assistant while his wife was dying of cancer. And then suddenly we heard of Barack Obama. And it was unbelievable that he won. And then you fast forward another couple of years, and we were only safe from probably, what was his name, McCain, from being president when he picked the dumbest vice president he possibly could. And we all had to apologize to Bush's vice president. Who was the little guy, Skippy or something? You know, remember when Palin said, I can see Russia from my house. And it was amazing that Barack got elected. And we thought, hooray! You know, bad times are over, or racism is over in America.
And Republicans have actually used that in court against affirmative action to say racism's over. We had a black president.
Yeah. But, you know, the thing is that there's really, can you believe, I mean, you think about it for 2 seconds, how can you believe that there's anybody who has not decided who they're going to vote for in this election? I put it on my Facebook page, and you can click through and see it. There was a really great Harris Waltz thing where all the people that were in Trump's administration are saying, you know, he cannot be president again. And that has no effect on the Trump people because they're not watching any of that. Well, the reason I brought up John Edwards is he said there's 2 Americas. You know, it was like one for the rich and one for the poor. But there really is just multitudes of different Americas. You know, when every night you spend about 5, sometimes to 10 minutes telling everybody where they can hear the show, I'm thinking, well, if they're not watching the show here with us on Facebook, how's this information going to do them any good? And I know it's about promotion and stuff, but those people, I could share it with all the friends I have on Facebook, and I don't push out anybody unless they get really strident about their politics and try to talk to them rationally. But I know I could never get them to watch this show. If I was the star of the show, they wouldn't watch it because they are dug in deep. And what worries me is not really the debate. Everybody's going to be dug in for that. If Trump loses horribly, they're still just going to stick with it. What worries me is what's going to go on at the polls, because the minute he starts losing, they're prime. It's not as obvious as it was for January 6th. But if you go back to December of 2020, they were marketing things. Go to Washington on January 6th. They had T-shirts and stuff printed, and law enforcement didn't take it seriously. They were advertising they're going to show up and storm the Capitol. I think they're going to storm polling places. Imagine if dudes show up with guns and stuff to stop the counting. If somebody gets shot. Imagine if this chaos really goes. That's why I've been saying to everybody, you should watch that movie that came out earlier this year called Civil War. I can't remember who directed it. The girl from the Spider-Man movies is the star of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember her name to save my life. But it's very mild about what would happen during a real, if Trump got all of his wishes, authoritarian crackdown, and states started seceding to the Union. There's a scene where they go to a gas station just trying to buy gas, and these guys at the gas station all have AR-15s, and they got two people hung by their wrists in the car wash. And these journalists there are scared to death. They realize we just drove up to the wrong gas station. And I know those guys. Those guys are all around here in Mississippi, and they are ready to pick up guns and start killing Democrats. That's why I keep all my guns loaded. I hope I never have one of them come up my driveway. I hope there's no trouble. But these people, the Trumpers, are not just for him. They don't just believe this BS. They're ready to pick up guns and finish what they started on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. So I don't know, worrying about how Kamala's going to do tomorrow night, worrying if he will have a heart attack. I don't know if he has a heart attack and drops dead before this election. I'm scared of what that will be.
See, but this I think...
You know, they assassinated him. They got him. Everybody go crazy. Get your guns and go crazy in the streets. We're in a real dangerous time. And I don't think a lot of people are appreciating that.
But this is where I think the difference lies, respectfully, is the difference between movement and cult. Civil rights era of this country was a movement. The why am I forgetting that? Why am I not saying it? You know, the movement to end slavery in this country was a movement. Women working to gain the vote was a movement. Movements have principles and shared beliefs and shared values and measurable, achievable goals. The leadership of a movement is, generally speaking, diverse and diffuse. There is no one. It is a series of people, not even a committee, but even a larger group than that. There are branches of it throughout different states and municipalities and so on. Trumpism is, on its face, a cult. It has no real principle. It has no platform. And I'm not talking about Project 2025. I'm talking about the very beginning of this in 2015. It had no principles. It had no plan, no issues, no policy solutions, nothing. All it had was a cult of personality. All it continues to have is a cult of personality. Project 2025, I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent that I don't want to get on, is, written up, bought, paid for by the billionaires that back this cult because they know they can use the cult leader to implement it. But if Trump should pass away tonight, the beginning of the end has begun because the head has been cut off. It's not terribly different than the Branch Davidians and David Koresh or Jones and Jones, I'm forgetting his first name, Jim Jones in Jonestown, or the Reverend Sun Young Moon in the Moonies, or even, I know as small a group as it was, Manson family. They didn't really have anything that they wanted to achieve. They were simply a cult, and a cult of personality. Trumpism, to me, is no different than that. It is fundamentally more dangerous and deeper ingrained in our nation because some of the binding ties that bring these folks together have always been there. Hatred of people of color has always been there. It's been there since the first settlers came here. They hated the indigenous people because they didn't look like them. It's always been there. This cult has brought it out into the open. But what does Trump actually want to do for the country? Can't tell you that. He still, after a decade, can't tell you that. He can tell you what he wants to do to the country. Can't tell you what he wants to do for it. I'm not so sure he could spell service, let alone explain the concept of it.
I don't think he can spell very many words, but I'll give you my local contacts, which is, and this sort of redneck mentality that's very angry Republicans is everywhere. I can see it from stories I read about Pennsylvania, where you are, Michigan, Ohio. It's crazy. But here it's like the deep South, Mississippi, Alabama, and all these places. It took a long time to get like Confederate statues down, and it's very recent that the rebel flags aren't really flying. But I can look across my road. There's a rebel flag, a Trump flag, a NASCAR flag, and an American flag. I'm surprised there's not a Nazi flag. And I don't know. These people seem crazy to me. I mean, I think I may have told you the story. I was sitting out here one night, and I heard like a really loud bang. And it was these guys at that house trailer driving golf balls into my property trying to hit my hawk that sits on the power pole. There's a line that comes from the road and goes into a transformer which goes to my house. I picked up like 20 golf balls. I know that when I go out there and bush hog that little strip between the road and my wood shop, I'm going to hit more golf balls that I can't find out there in that high grass. Here in Meridian, this is where the Lauderdale County Sheriff's deputies that killed those civil rights workers back in '63 burnt the bodies. And then they thought, well, crap, that didn't work, so they buried them in an earthen dam. Today, I don't have any business there, really, but I drove by the courthouse where the trials were held, and all of those white dudes got off scot-free by all white juries, all not convicted of killing those civil rights workers. The family, I don't really even remember if they got any of the guys, but there was a guy, one of those sheriffs, that worked in his retirement years at the old Village Center Mall, which was going to replace by another mall, which also got hit that month. But we used to look at this guy.
Mike, your connection's getting dreadful. Are we losing you? Are you in motion?
No, I'm sitting here. I keep hearing the parts. But anyway, I grew up watching one of the guys that killed the civil rights workers in '63 in his old age, marching up and down the mall. And a lot of people here think that guy was a hero. And they got guns. And they're all in for Trump with their red hat. So I'm worried. I would love it if he dropped dead. But, if he's still living on November 6th and the votes are being counted, all bets are off to me.
I happen to agree with you. I think there will be some form. I don't know if it'll be a full-fledged January 6th again, but something will happen because he wants it to. And because all he has to do is intimate it, and enough of the cultists will get the message. However, and I think this ties into what you were saying before about how many people out there are really undecided yet. I happen to think there's quite possibly more than we think. I almost sort of hope not, but I almost hope that there is, because that means that they're still reachable and hopefully pliable and can be spoken with, not to and not at, but spoken with, which is all we've ever tried to do here, is speak with all of you, not at you. But I understand exactly why and what you are saying, and that who the hell really hasn't made up their mind by this point. Sadly enough, I think there are people who haven't made up their mind yet. A good chunk of the American populace doesn't tune in until after Labor Day, after the kids are back in school, after summer vacations are done. They simply don't tune in. They're not wonks the way I am, or you may be, or Randall is. They're not policy wonks. They're not going to be watching MSNBC or CNN or C-SPAN or any of the fake, any of the entertainment channels, wink, 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 on December 1st to find out which presidential candidates for 2028 are starting to visit Iowa. So there is a place that I think there are some people that haven't decided yet, and I kind of hope that that's true, because I want to try to reach them myself. And as far as promotion goes, you're kind of right. I mean, it's kind of like speaking, I'm telling you where to find the program. You're already here. But from my end, I get to see the names pop up on the screen that I don't recognize. And you got to try to catch them while you can. And besides, there's also the recording of this program that is all over Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and everywhere else that you can watch the recording. Maybe somebody hears the promotion from that side too. You never know. I can sit here and talk till I'm a Democrat, so I can talk till I'm blue in the face. And George got that one. I thought that was funny. I can talk till I'm blue in the face if there's no one here listening. What does it matter? A tree falls in the woods, so to speak. But thank you, mate. We only got a few minutes left. I'm very grateful for you continuing to be part of the program. It does mean a lot to me. I really deeply appreciate it. All right, have a great night. We only do have about 5 minutes left of the program, and or less, actually. And remember, I didn't even tell you, which is really bad of me. Coming up in 4 minutes, actually, 4 minutes, because I should end a little early. Cold, Dead Hands with Brett and Ben. Ben is one of the nation's leading experts on the Second Amendment, gun violence, the history of gun violence in this country, the fetishization, I think I said that properly, of guns and gun culture. He's a professor, and he's one of the leading experts, literally. And I'm not making this up because he's on our station, it's the truth. One of the leading experts in the country on this topic. And I know that he will be talking about the school shooting that happened in Georgia, Barrow County, last week. Brett, his co-host, is the parent of a dead child from Uvalde, Texas. He's lived this. And every time it happens again, he lives it all over again. You're going to want to listen to their program. It comes up in about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, right after us, 9 p.m. Eastern on GCPR. GCPR.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio, or plug it into a search engine. You'll find us, period, end of story. Now, tomorrow, we are going to try to get the gang together, the GCPR crew, or at least as many of them that are willing to join us as possible. And we're going to give you a little preview leading up to the debate. Haven't quite decided yet if we'll try to simulcast it and commentate over it. My guess is no. I think you should watch it and concentrate on it. But we may, not sure, 100% on that, but we will be here tomorrow from 8 p.m., right after the help desk, with that handsome gentleman to my right, I guess. Yeah, to my right. He and Gilbert will be here with the help desk. You got computer questions, ask them. 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. 6 to 8 tomorrow evening. TKE tonight for the 10th for debate night begins from 8. Preview with the gang, the whole gang, the crew of GCPR all together to do debate preview. We'll take you right into the debate from 9 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11 p.m. Not just tonight, but tomorrow night after the debate. So he's the man you want to talk with tomorrow after the debate. Thomas is here tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. with the sound of coffee. And again, Bet and Bren, I mixed up there. I did a Benifer. Oh my God. Ben and Brett coming up right after us. T. Nathan from 11, Thomas 8 in the morning, the help desk from 6. The gang's all here tomorrow night from 8. Please encourage all your friends, families, coworkers, everyone you can think of to tune in and watch the debate tomorrow. It's that important. For everybody at GCPR, Thomas, Brett, Ben, I keep doing it. Why am I doing this? Gilbert, Gambit, Gretchen, Solid Blue Sister, Bob Kosh, and soon Cole Goodman. For everybody that surrounds TKE tonight and the Community Effect, that's Lynn and George, April Riddick, Kristen, and Daisy the dog downstairs. I'm Jeff Kennedy. We've done all the damage we can do for one night. Please take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you tomorrow night for debate preview. Remember, George, from 6 p.m. as well. Cold Dead Hands starts right now.